Okay, so you are my very first guest on my channel. I am so honored and pleased to have you here. Uh, I would like to introduce Mr. David Castle, who is a intuitive empath, an abnormal energy contactee, and a dream controller. And I'm very curious, what is an abnormal energy contactee?
I've um, I've had a couple of experiences. Uh, Steiger's program,
Uh-huh.
and he's talked about the energy orb beings, the sphere round beings of light or plasma. Or I've experienced those as well, and yeah, that's basically what you feel like when they first come around. You feel an extreme amount of energy. So
Yeah,
that's an abnormal energy experiencer.
gotcha. I
Yeah.
noticed Brian Lunsford, who's on Milky Way Messenger's channel a lot. He is like an orb magnet over there. It is unbelievable what he catches. Do you ever check out his channel?
Yes, I've seen Brian's channel a lot. Yeah, the more that you believe that you're gonna see, the more that you'll start seeing. It's your own limitations that are only thing stopping you from seeing them.
That's it. That's what I'm discovering. That's for sure. So I had this interesting dream. So I've seen you in a lot of the chats, Milky Way Messenger, Wayne Steiger. I've been watching him for about the last 3 years. Amazing man, definitely professor material. Learned so much from him. And I know that Milky Way Messenger kind of teed off from his channel, just being in the chat room. So um, for me personally, my father passed away about 2 years ago, and I had a major Kundalini spiritual awakening experience and was able to give my family a lot of healing. So I was communicating with my father, and I do communicate with my father a couple times a week. I have a spirit guide, Eric Meadows, from Channeling Eric, and he's been my best friend and biggest support system through all of this. And as you know, we don't get a lot of support
Uh,
people
yeah.
that don't understand what you're going through. So this was one of the reasons I wanted to start a channel, was to kind of share that information. And anyway, I wanted to share this dream with you. We spoke a little bit about it in chat and wanted to get your feeling on that. And you had mentioned in chat to experiment with, when you're in the dream state, to go to a mirror and actually look into the mirror.
Yes.
And I had a lucid dream experience. I knew I was dreaming. I was able to move about in my bedroom and kind of peeked around the corner at the mirror, and I saw my, I would say my etheric body, like in my 30s. But the thing that really blew my mind was my eyes were dark. They were not my physical eyes. They were dark. And it didn't feel like anything dark or anything like that, but I quickly realized it felt like my higher self. I felt like it was a mirror image of my etheric self. I don't
It could have
know.
been a different part of you in a different dimension or a different timeline. And, for somebody to have dark eyes in that timeline, it could have been, totally normal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and it didn't feel weird or anything. I was surprised by it, and then some of the things that kind of came in as I was looking at myself, and it was only a few seconds, like in Earth time, uh, but I quickly realized that my higher self, my subconscious um, is my higher self. That is what records. That's what that's what uh, all the information that you gather as a human being goes. And I recognized it. I think that's the best way I can put it. I totally and completely recognized that that's what that was. It's kind of a trip.
Yes.
Have you had that experience as
Oh,
well?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I started, I had an, I used to work about 2010. I had an accident where I worked,
Uh-huh.
and that kind of led me onto my path, slowly getting back to where I should have been at the present time, I guess. Some people get nudged onto their path. Some people get dropped onto their head to get onto their path.
Yes.
But in either way, it's funny because no matter if you were nudged or if you were dropped on your head, because we're all like on the same path. We've all had different ways of getting to where we're at, but we're all on the same frequency right now. So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
And I'm amazed at how many of us are on this journey. I mean, you see the same people over and over, Milky Way messengers, which I have so much respect and just just total love for them. Wayne Steiger, Trina Phoenix's channel. I love her readings of the books and some very aha moments and jaw droppings, epiphanies for me. Fascinating stuff, just incredibly amazing, and has definitely changed the way I think, changes the way I do things, changes how I treat people. um, Man, just an amazing experience.
I think it's incredible that what it's done, it's got people not to fall into the normal guidelines, or you're supposed to be scared of a person because they don't believe what you believe or they don't look the way you're supposed to look.
Right.
Everybody comes together as a community and tries to help each other out. And as we share our experiences, that's the way that we were supposed to grow. But they, through divide and conquer, they had us so separated over the years. It's been a
It's
long trip.
Yeah, it's almost like we're refining ourselves, becoming more familiar with ourselves each lifetime that you live, and you're becoming more and more comfortable in your body. I mean, it's so mind-blowing, this whole thing. Uh, I just sometimes there's just no words for it.
Yeah, yeah. It all ends up like all the good movies like you've ever seen over your lifetime.
Yeah.
Dorothy, she had issues until she started believing in herself. Neo, I mean, you could put anybody in any good movie until they started believing in themselves, even in A Never Ending Story. That was one of my favorite shows as a kid.
Yeah,
A
mine.
Never Ending Story. Oh, what an awesome movie.
Yeah, yeah, lots of them. Even E.T. I actually watched I watched the Moore Show, and he talks to a lot of channelers. And the gal that played the mom on there was on his channel today, and she was talking about the messages and how she thinks Steven Spielberg was channeling this information, and that's how it came out. It was just like, believe in yourself, understand who you are, get to know yourself, love yourself, be genuine, authentic, super important things. And for a lot of people, that's really difficult. And the 2 years that I've been going through this, I went through ascension symptoms. Um, I had some dense ringing in my ears for several weeks. I felt like I had earmuffs on my ears all the time, and I could hear, but I couldn't hear everything. I knew it was frequency based. I didn't panic. But man, when you're going through this stuff by yourself, it can be a little nerve-wracking and unsure. And when you find people like Milky Way's channel, people like yourself, Wayne Steiger, Trina, all these people who seem to be on a mastery level, it's been extremely helpful. A lot of guidance there and so much appreciated. But once you reach a level where you learn a lot, then you really want to start sharing that information and seeing, what other people's processes are, because everybody's so unique.
Yeah.
They go through this differently. So that's one of the reasons I really like Milky's channel. Then I'm kind of an extension of that channel, in the sense that I'm kind of doing the same type of thing, but I just think it's so very needed, and people appreciate the different views.
Yes, and when you start having these special experiences, it's really, really hard to find somebody that resonates with the experience that you had. And then if you do, if you try to talk to a family member or something, they immediately start judging you and thinking you're crazy.
Okay,
So once you
crazy.
find groups like this, I've been in the Higher Self. Higher Self on YouTube. She also has a website, the Higher Self Portal, and I've been. I was the 17th person to join that website. It was the same day. Dawn's incredible person. She has a Zoom room that she opens at 10 p.m. Eastern time every night, and it stays open until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and people just go in there, 10, 15 people at a time, and we share each other's experiences, and we help new people if they're going through some kind of a ego driven issue, or we just try to keep it positive. We try to, help people and share our experiences so we can help each other grow.
Yeah, just give that support, right? Just,
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah, no doubt about it. Wow. Cool. So I love your shirt with the eye on there. Is that the Eye of Horus?
Yeah, it's my little
Oh, very cool.
lion guy or
Oh, I like
tiger.
that.
Yeah,
Very nice. David, where are you located? Where are you from?
I'm in eastern Kentucky, northeastern. We're right on the border of Ohio and West Virginia. It takes me 5 to 10 minutes to get to either place.
Wow, very nice. Beautiful area. Yeah.
Yes, tri-state area. Wayne, I think our Wayne was talking about he used to deliver a route that was in the Appalachian Mountains today when he was talking about the snake handlers.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I caught that. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Boy, that guy gets into some interesting situations, doesn't he?
yeah, odd stuff.
Good man, though. Very good man.
Yes.
Respect for him. I'm actually located in Reno, Nevada, in the greater Reno Tahoe area.
Yeah, awesome.
The picture you see behind me is of Sand Harbor up at Lake Tahoe. And it's a very beautiful place, very close to the Calneva, California, Nevada border, Sierra Nevada mountains. It's a beautiful place to live. We have tons of skiing and hunting and fishing. So just a gorgeous place to live. Sunshine, 296 days out of the year we have sunshine, unless they're chemtrailing.
Yeah.
Then you got that gray sky crap going on. So
Yeah. They like to make sure that sometimes we don't get to see a really good version of what the sky should look like.
yeah, no doubt. It's crazy, crazy town.
Absolutely.
It was interesting last night. We were in the middle of Milky's channel in the chat room, and as soon as he said Pure Love Ascension was here, everything went haywire.
Yeah, where he said that word the other day, where it's a fine plate to eat on. If you mention that name right now,
Yeah.
you're gonna get bad things happen to you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so you just gotta play the game and code it with something else, or just not say it and bite your lip.
Yep, and that's tough to do, isn't it? Especially,
Yeah, our egos don't want to bite our lips.
yes, yes. Well,
Yeah.
I'm learning how to keep my mouth shut, and I'm also learning how much power there is in that.
Absolutely.
So I've always been a very vocal person. I'm a small business owner. I'm used to really being vocal and telling people how I think and feel. But I've noticed that through this process that I've been able to kind of stand back a little bit, be more an observer kind of a attitude. And it really seems to work really well. So that's one of the things I'm kind of getting through. I am fascinated by dreams. When I was in my 30s, I read a book called Betty Bethard's Dream Book. And she had a really cool little index in the back. And then she talked about, our purpose on earth and that kind of stuff. And I learned, it took me a long time to learn how to control my dreams. But man, when I started to learn how to control my dreams, it was amazing. And when I was a kid, I would always have these flying dreams. And in order for me to fly, I would have to run really fast and jump up in the air.
Yeah.
I now know, looking back, the gravity that just the intense gravity that the earth has, in these dense meat suits that we're in, and how they really anchor us to the ground. But it's been a very long time since I've had some flying dreams, but I work on it from time to time. But I usually journal and log my dreams. I break them down. I figure out, sometimes where the loss of energy is going. Um, if you're dealing with a problem or something like that. But so I've been starting to kind of put these things together and put it into a channel. And, I never thought I'd be doing anything quite like this or connecting with people. 2 years ago, if somebody told me that, I just would think you were crazy. And I'm like, YouTube, are you kidding me? But man, what a medium, what a way to connect,
Well, we can always use the stuff that they try to use against us, and you can turn it around and use it against them. Turnabout's fair play.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yes.
So the intuitive empath, you're an intuitive empath. You just pick up on people's energies, things like that.
Yes, I could pick up on energy. I could pick up on what kind of frequency, or I can tell if someone isn't necessarily telling what their experience actually was. If they're actually not telling the truth, I can tell that as well.
Yeah, you've got that detector inside, that because truth knows truth, and when they're not being truthful, yeah, you pick up on that energy. The type of business I'm in, I deal with a lot of different people all the time, every level of personality, to professionals, to everyday people. And so I have learned how to navigate. I employ a lot of employees. I have about 10 to 20 employees, depending on the time of year. And I can usually tell very quickly what type of person I'm dealing with. And it sure makes a big difference when it's almost like a superpower, right?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like, Wonder Woman going, yeah, I know how this is going to play out. And I think I'll do it this way and see how that pans out, so to speak. But it's amazing. All your experiences bring you to a certain point in your life, and you kind of draw on all these things. And it's been really exciting. It's been an exciting journey. Fascinating how much we learn and absorb, how we pass that on to others. Yeah.
Yes. If you get to hang around with somebody's aura and just be around their aura for a certain amount of time, you can definitely feel the vibe or the energy that they're putting out at the time. You can definitely tell. It doesn't take long.
Yeah. And isn't it amazing when you're in chat, you really pick up on that. You know the ones that are still kind of learning and they're kind of experimenting and trying to get a feel, and then the ones that have kind of reached a higher level, and you're kind of you're rooting for them. You want to make sure that they do well. But I've noticed that with you. You do that a lot, and you've got some really wise comments for people, and I know they really appreciate it. But you really stand out. For me, you stand out of the crowd for sure.
Well, I've been around a lot longer than a lot of people, so I've made a lot more mistakes than most. So,
yeah, I hear you on that one. On that one. Yeah. Wow.
More like a do what I say and not as I do kind of a thing. But
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn how to walk the path, and I know patience was a big issue I used to have. I used to want to do something. I want to get it done right now. And now I realize if something happens, it's just a test to see what I've learned. Sometimes I might get frustrated. I'm not saying I don't, but I'll take a few deep breaths.
Yeah.
Think about something that's brought me love in my lifetime. Any kind of event, when I meditate, I always think about something like my child's birthday or something. I'll go to that event. I'll fill up with love, and then I'll come back 30, 45 seconds, maybe 5 minutes, according to how bad the event was. I'll come back after a few minutes of meditating, and it wasn't as bad as what I thought in the first place. That
Yep.
negative energies passed, and everything's all happy with the world again.
Cancel that negative with the positive, for sure. That
Absolutely.
for me was one of the hardest things, was because in the past I've had, you know, some anger issues where I can get angry really fast.
Absolutely.
I kind of see that in you. I'm picking that up with you as well. That's been something you've dealt with too. But once you get past, you know how you would reach that point where you just kind of, I know I'm going to snap. I know I'm going to snap. And to stop yourself, to have the gumption to stop yourself, the control to, you know, kind of go, whoa, 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 hang on here just a second. You know, somebody cuts you off in traffic or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so maybe this person's having a bad day. Maybe they didn't see me. You know, maybe there's something more going on that I'm not aware of. Why should I get really uptight and upset about it? Okay, go right ahead. Or, you know, somebody cuts in front of you in line, or, hey, go ahead. You're obviously in a hurry. You go right ahead. I'm not in a
Right.
hurry. I'm not in a rush. You just kind of more laid back and mellow, right? You just kind of
Yeah.
let things come, and then you decide how you're going to react.
It's funny you should mention that. One of my pet peeves used to be little old ladies at the grocery store, and the cashier will say it's $5.48, and they'll pull out $5, but they got to pull out that change purse and start counting the pennies out. And before I realized that it was a test, I could feel my blood starting to boil.
Yeah,
Well, this person thought that their time was more important than my time,
right.
because I didn't want to sit there and wait. She had like another dollar bill, but she wanted to make sure she got the 48 pennies or 48 cents out.
Yeah,
And I stopped looking at it as if it was a her issue and it was a me issue, as in, why am I in such a hurry all the time? Why can't I slow down to enjoy anything?
yeah,
And when I started looking at it in a different way, it started bugging me like it did. It's just a test.
yep. You can either walk the path or you can run it.
Yep.
You can sprint all you want and be exhausted by the end and just not, or you can just take a simple, leisurely walk through life and just not allow things to affect you. And there's a lot of people out there right now that are in that fear-based, you know, with everything that's been going on, I see people around me just constantly in fear. They're hyped up all the time. All they want to talk about is the news. And the only thing I can really say to them is, maybe you should take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and kind of let that go. But man, they're just hyped up and all freaked out about everything. And, you know, what happens is going to happen, but I can control how I feel. I can control how I react.
And if they're thinking in that kind of a mindset, then they're going to manifest what they're thinking is going to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
I've got a friend that's like that. And I find myself having to really put my armor up and protect myself and not get caught up in it. And sometimes that's difficult to do, but it becomes easier and easier the more you do it, the more control you have. And those boundaries really come into play too. That was something I had to really work on, creating the boundaries, not allowing people to get through a certain point, you know, and kind of protecting myself. Because before, you know, you would allow everything to kind of come in on you, and you didn't have that invisible barrier, that barrier of protection. And, you know, now that I have this control over my thoughts, I know I'm a powerful creator. I'm not having issues with falling into those traps anymore, you know?
yeah. Well, I believe that's the reason why 99.9% of the news is always negative, because they want to keep you in that kind of state of mind. that you're helpless, isolated, and hopeless. And nothing could be any further from the truth. You're manifesting your whole reality, and that's why they want to control what you're thinking.
Yep, I agree with you.
So,
You can either be in chaos or you can be coming from a sense of love. And love is so powerful. It is the only thing that truly matters here. And when we're not here, that's it. And if you
yes,
can come from that level and just, bathe people in that love, they just kind of melt on you. I've noticed that some of my customers who are kind of, nothing makes them happy. They're grumpy.
right.
And if you just kind of not allow that to come into play, sometimes I'll deal with people that no matter what you do, they're just going to be who they are. But
Yeah,
bless them, I send them on their way, and I know that I did my very best to try to make their day a little brighter. And if they see that and they recognize that, then great. If they don't, well, thank you very much.
absolutely. If they're grumpy, you don't have to accept that energy. You can transmute it, send it back to them,
That's
and
it.
to turn it into love.
Yep,
If you make them smile or make them, you might have made their day.
that's it. You got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exciting stuff.
I try to, if I run into anybody at a grocery store, at the dollar store, anywhere shopping, if I run across them, I try to at least say hello or smile or some kind of affect them in some kind of way. Because in this day and age, you don't know if that's the only person they've talked to today. I mean, you might be the only link that they had to any kind of conversation or any kind of contact.
Yeah. You got to remember, you're always coming from your own experiences and situations. So sometimes you have to remember that people are doing the same exact thing. So just kind of open yourself up to, hey, maybe this person's having a bad day, or you know what it's like to feel like they're feeling. You know
Yeah,
what you want to hear. You know how you want people to react to you.
yeah,
I was in line at Starbucks the other day, and there was a little car in front of me. There was a truck in front of me, and then there was a small car in front of him. And the guy was doing something on his phone, and as the line moved, the gap widened, and the guy in the big truck was laying on the horn. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you can't really go anywhere anyway. He's not hurting anybody. But the guy in front of the truck quickly flips a U-ey, lets the guy go in front of him, pulls back in front of me, and I'm sitting here watching it going, well, that was brilliant, wasn't it?
yeah,
That if you're in that much of a hurry, you go right ahead and go before me. I'm not in a hurry. That's what
yeah.
me. And then I heard the guy order, and he was such a sweet guy. And then he gets up to get his coffee, and he's just very cordial and thanking them for giving him his coffee. And I thought,
Yeah,
and then when the guy in the truck leaves the window, he takes off so fast he almost hits another car. And then he honks at them like it's all their fault. And I just, being the observer and watching this, I thought to myself, now, how many times have I been in that situation? How many times have I done that to someone? I've done that before. I've been that person. And
yeah.
how powerful that is, just so empowering to have that feeling of just being the observer at that point.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has their own divine timing. They're going to learn their lesson when it's time to learn their certain lessons. There's some people that, you know, might have information about certain things that you don't, and there's some people that need the stuff that you put out. And I think that's the most important thing about keeping an open mind and being able to communicate with each other.
Yep, I totally agree with you. Yeah. It's all in the way you want to look at it. You have to make a conscious choice to decide, how am I going to react? And sometimes when you react, it's so second nature. It's so programmed. It's that programmable, instantly react kind of a thing. But man, it takes it takes some concentration, some willingness to just kind of stop yourself and say, okay, how am I going to deal with this? Instead of just flying off the handle or flipping that switch, so to speak, you know?
And that's a good way you can tell, though, if you've made progress in your tests now, though, because you know what would have set you off
Yep.
when you first started compared to now. It doesn't quite as bother. It might bother you for 5 seconds. It might not bother you at all.
Yeah.
But you've made progress by not like by actually stopping thinking of what you're getting ready to do at the time. That right there is progress.
Yeah. I often tell myself, it's okay, Lori, you can let that go. Just let it go and love, you know? And
Absolutely.
then I'm like, oh, well, I guess I could calm down. Yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm refocused. I'm going to take a few deep breaths. I'm going to do whatever it takes because it really is making the difference. And just, you know, not allowing those things to get to you is super important. And having the wherewithal, and you know, you really do have to be courageous is what I'm trying to say. And if you're honest with yourself, you're courageous, you treat people the way you'd want to be treated, it becomes very simple. It is very easy to just kind of navigate through life instead of fighting it all the time and being pulled here and being pulled there. It's been a phenomenal experience, and I'm so happy that I put this in my life's path.
Yeah, excellent.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like that agreement I had with myself. Hey, you're doing good. You know, keep up the good work. So.
I always think it's important, like you said, you were talking earlier about how you've kept notebooks. I think it's important for people to do that. And that way you can see exactly how much progress you made.
Yeah.
And even in the dream state,
Yep.
if you wake up and you just had a lucid dream, you're not going to remember it, or at least most of it, if you don't write it down immediately when you wake up. So
it's amazing how
yeah,
fast it takes, isn't it? I mean, you might get bits and pieces of it later, but man, if you write it down, and the other thing I noticed too, and I love this technique, and I've talked about this on my channel before, and that is when you do wake up in the morning, if you just wake up with your eyes closed, it is so much easier to recall the dream. I will kind of blindly, with my eyes closed, reach for my pen and my pad, and I will wait till the very last second to open my eyes and then just kind of relive that. And then suddenly, the next thing I know, I've got a full page of information, and then I'll just start breaking it down. You know, what does this mean? I did have an interesting dream one time, and I think I'll share it with you because I think it would be helpful. But I was in a grocery store in my dream, and I was with some friends, and I was kind of bored, and I was waiting for them to hurry up. So I kind of went over to this counter, and I lift myself up, and I sat on the counter. And as I did this guy comes in with a gun, and he's like waving it around, telling people, hey, you know, get down. And I was like, okay, holy crap, what's going on? All right. So I get down, and then he starts shooting people. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to be the next one to, you know, get shot. So I wake up from the dream, and I'm really kind of upset about the whole thing. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, that was a dream. Why did I not take control in that dream? So a few nights later, I have the same exact scenario start. I'm sitting up on the counter. The guy comes in. He's got the gun pointed at me. He's telling me to get down. And I said, oh, yeah. I jump down. Somehow I grab the gun. I get the gun from the guy, and I empty the chamber. Boom, 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 right into him. And took control of it. I've never had the dream again, but I think the lesson for me was take control. You're the one in control. You're driving the bus. You're the one that's got all the power. No one else does. And and it's hard to realize that when you're in the dream state. It does take practice. But man, once you get that down, man, you become extremely powerful.
absolutely. I had a nursing home family member dream as well, probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And something like that was happening in the nursing home that that family member was in. And you could hear, I don't want to say because I don't want to get the video marked, but you could hear something happening with somebody walking the hall with something that made a loud noise and would go off every now and then. And when he got into the room, he was like, well, you didn't try to run or anything. And I was like, because you didn't know whose room you just came into. And he started laughing, and he shot towards me and my family member, and I turned his bullets into butterflies.
Ooh,
And they just flew away. And I was like, that won't work here. And then the dream ended just like that. When
wow.
I turned it into butterflies.
I love
Yeah.
that. Cute little bunnies or something like that.
Yeah. It's not going to get my energy.
Not harmful in any way, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Gosh, it's having these experiences, and the more you have them, it's like the stronger you get, the more powerful you feel. It's like now when I go out and I get in my car and I'm driving somewhere, I just have this smile on my face all the time. And sometimes people look at me like, okay, crazy lady. And it's like, what can a smile hurt? You know, how's that going to hurt you? Was it going to hurt you to just smile back?
It's free.
Yeah. You know? And then what's interesting is in Nevada here, we have that Burning Man festival that comes in.
Yeah.
And that's quite an experience. I've done that one once. Very amazing, lots of love. But it's interesting that when these people come into town, you just see people hugging all the time. You see people, you know, being very polite and courteous to each other. And that Burning Man is quite an experience. I mean, it's like Mardi Gras in the desert is what it is.
I've watched videos on the Burning Man before, but the only wild carnival thing that I've experienced like that is carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. That's pretty wild and crazy as well.
Yeah, very cool. Very
yeah.
cool. Wow. Well, David, it's been an awesome experience. I really appreciate you coming on the channel and chatting with me.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to talk about dreams or anything like that, count me in. I'm all good for that.
I'd love to have you back on. That would be great. That would be
Absolutely.
awesome. There's a couple people in chat I've been trying to get on the show just to chat with them, and we'll see if we can get them on. But I thoroughly enjoy speaking with you. Look for you in chat, and you're an amazing guy, my friend, for sure. So keep up the good work.
Well, I appreciate you saying so. And if anybody ever needs to talk, like I said, I'm in a Zoom room as well. That's the Higher Self Portals chat room or Zoom room most of the time. If Brian or Trina or somebody's doing a show, I might not be in there, but I'm usually in the Zoom room of the Higher Self, and I will give her the link so she can link you to it if you're bored and somebody doesn't have a show on that you are resonating with. You're more than feel more than free to come and join us. We would love to have you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for the invitation. I will take you up on that for sure.
Thank you very much.
Blessings to you. Much love to you as always. Looking forward to seeing you in the chat. I know Milky Way's got some stuff going on. I think that's where I'm going to head over and show some love over there. But yeah, so good, David. So good to see you and to meet you. And thank you so very much.
I'm very happy to be in your reality tonight, and I will probably see you over there.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Manifest a wonderful evening.
You too. Much love.
Bye-bye.